Welcome. This is Streaming Idiots, and I am Tom Sinclair, Chief Idiot for sure. Delighted to have you with us today. For those of you watching live, woohoo! Glad to have you. Love to have folks chatting in the chat room and telling me where where I need to straighten myself out. That's always nice. And for those of you watching on YouTube later on, super. Thank you. Glad you're here. Actually, you've got two options with YouTube, which are really pretty cool. One option is you get to watch the entire show, including the pre-show and the show itself and the post-show. And that's because we're using YouTube to stream this event live, and so YouTube records it. Now, it does record it at 720p, and then it re-encodes it at all the lesser resolutions so that you can watch it. That's why there's actually about a 10-second delay today between live for me and live for you. And that's so that YouTube can give you a 480 resolution, and then a 360 resolution, and then a 240 resolution and a 144 resolution. So if your show looks a little foggy and you're watching us live, check the resolution, the little icon down over here somewhere, that little gear icon, and and you can up the resolution. But if you're watching on your phone and using your data plan, you may want to lower the resolution, even lower than what your data plan can support, because I'm not that good looking and you're not going to miss a whole lot, but it will reduce the amount of data that you use. We'd love to have you correspond with us, and you can leave a message at YouTube, or you can just send me a note. Whoops, there it is, tom@easternshorebroadcasting.com, and I will reply. I love getting emails. So if you've got a question about something on today's show, just shoot us an email. Glad to help. Today we're going to talk about vMix Social, a new add-on to the vMix Social platform. Now, how much, a platform, it's got to be expensive if it's a platform. If it was just an app, apps are free, but a platform must cost something. But no, the vMix Social platform comes free, and you can actually get it free, even if you don't use vMix. Shh, don't tell anybody. Now, you have to kind of go back around we'll talk about that in just a minute. It's a separate application that runs and allows you to pull in your Twitter feed, your Facebook feed, and your new is Instagram. And so we'll show you how to do that in just a minute. We did that a little bit in pre-show, and it was kind of fun. And if you're watching us live now and you want to send a picture of watching us live now, or a picture of yourself watching us live now, do that in Instagram and add the hashtag vMixSocial. That would be #vMixSocial, no spaces. And by the way, I'll tell you, don't put a space in a hashtag. It just doesn't work right when you do that. You get an unexpected consequence. So, vMix Social is part of vMix 17.0.0.103, which is the latest in the 17s that was released last Wednesday. Today is July 13th, and today, I almost forgot, today is our 4-year anniversary. So it's been 4 years ago, actually yesterday, July 12th, when we did our very first show back in 2012, that VidBlaster guy. And it's been 4 years today, so today we start our 5th year of broadcasting. It's been a lot of fun. And it's fun. I'm embarrassed, and I left all those old shows up there so you can go look. But go back if you're interested to some of the old YouTube shows. You have to go way down to the bottom, and down at the bottom you'll see one of the very first shows. I think I did one with Alan Bunt. You remember the church guy up in Wisconsin, and with Amnon Nissan at Nissan Communications in North Carolina. Those were my first two guests, and bless their hearts, they're still my friend after all those years. So shout out to Amnon and to Al. I appreciate your support even back then, and they've both been on the shows at least once, maybe twice since then. So it's good stuff. So vMix Social is free with vMix. So if you download the trial edition of vMix, and you can go to our website, easternshorebroadcasting.com, bottom left-hand corner is a link to wherever you need to go to get it. And with it, you get a 60-day trial, and it's the HD high definition. All the toys are in it, and you can learn about vMix Social, which is a separate piece of software that installs on your PC when you install the vMix software. It's just a little application. There's some other applications that install also, and we'll talk about those on another show. The vMix Social, you can use, even when your 60-day trial expires and your vMix Heavy Duty, I think it's the Pro version, reverts back to what's called the basic SD version, which is the free version, which is great, and you can use that forever. The vMix Basic SD, S as in Sam, D as in David, standard definition. And that, but see, that's severely limited, and I was going to say crippled and put those two words together. Do you ever do that? You're limited to 4 inputs and one output, and so there's, you can do a little bit with it, but one of the things you can do with it is you can use the vMix Social in a chroma key situation and send it out and have it go to your TriCaster or your Wirecast machine or whatever. So it's a great way to incorporate vMix into production if you want to use the vMix. Heck, you can even use the vMix NDI, but if you wanted to use the vMix Social, you could do that too for free. Yeah. I want to show you vMix Social, but before I forget, I see a note here. One of our streaming friends, George Price, with the Pendleton Gazette, and if you haven't, you need to check out George Price's YouTube videos. George had a stroke about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 now, and maybe had more than one, and was in the hospital for quite a while, several weeks, and has just come home. Recently, he's going to live with his daughter and her family for a bit. George is with the Pendleton Gazette in Pendleton, Indiana. So you may want to drop a note by his YouTube page and wish him well. He's a good guy, and he taught me a lot about vMix, and so I want to give him a shout out. George, we're rooting for you, we're praying for you, and we know that your lovely daughter is taking good care of you. So get well and get back to full speed fast. vMix Social, Instagram, .103. Let's take a look at what some of that stuff looks like. So let's go here first. This is what vMix Social looks like, and it's just a little app that sits on your desktop. Well, it sits wherever you put it, and you can see you've got the Twitter function. I don't know if you can see my cursor, but there's the Twitter function. You've got the Facebook function. You've got Instagram that's been added, and you've got IRC chat. Don't know where they're going to put the 5th one when the time comes, but I guess they'll figure out a way to do that. And you can see that each of these sets, Twitter has 2 boxes that goes with it. Facebook has 2 boxes. Instagram has 2 boxes. And these or buttons. And you can see with Instagram that I've got a button that says off. So my Instagram is currently in the on position, because by clicking the off button, I would turn it off. And we can see 3 down here, which tells me, I'm going to turn it back on, that I've got 3 posts, or what would you call them, 3 messages in Instagram right now that, and let's pull up the Instagram. We're going to go into the guts of Instagram here, and I've got another window for that. And this is where you can log in. I'm not going to do that. I'm already logged in. Even though it still says log in to Instagram, I'm already logged in. So step 1 we've already done. Step 2, we can talk about the feed type. Now for today's show, I've used the feed type hashtag vMix Social. So if you've got an Instagram account and you want to put together something real quick for us today, right now, put in the hashtag vMix Social in your comment about your Instagram photo or video, and it'll pop up here within, probably less than a minute, probably within 10 or 15 seconds. Or I can also take and do a username. It could be any username. See, there's my username, sinclair.tom, so that now all of my accounts, all of my Instagram photos would be options for doing that. But let's go back to the tag name for a second, and we'll just click OK. And then we'll go back here to that one, and we see that our Instagram is on because we could turn it off. And then let's take a look at oh yeah, here we go, the web interface. Now the web interface has got this address, which is an address that your computer will use to go find the page that vMix is making available. So if we click View, click, I've already clicked it. That click was just a sound effect that I put in there. And then a browser window would pop up that looks a little bit like this. And I'm going to just take this one, and I'm going to just blow it up for just a minute so that we can see it more easily. Let's position it like that, and then we can blow it up a little bit, and you guys can see what we've got there a little bit better. And you can see that there's a post just popped in from live streaming 24/7. We'll get to that one in just a second. You can see of the ones that we've got, there's a little orange dot out there to the left of it, and then the icon that tells us whether it's an Instagram or a Twitter in this case, or it could be a Facebook, but we're not using Facebook right now. And then it has the picture that's associated with that particular Instagram account, or in this case right here with live streaming 24/7, an icon tells us who is that sent it in, and then tells us the message. In this case, live stream at Reno, Nevada. Now this one is not set to be part of our. In fact, let's just go ahead and turn that on. Well, we'll turn it on in just a second. Don't get ahead of myself. So we've got, let's say we're just going to pick my message right here. And right now, you can see at the top, I could send that directly to the vMix social, or I could take it out of the queue, or I could cancel it. I'm just going to cancel it. If I take it out of the queue, the orange dot goes away to tell me that this is no longer in the queue. So I'm going to put it back in the queue, and while we're doing it, we're going to put this one in the queue too. Obviously, Rich is not watching me. That's okay. And there's a dot that comes out next to him, and you know he's in the queue. And we can view the queue, which basically is just everybody. And let's take me out of the queue. So I'm removed from the queue now. And if we view the queue, we see you only have 4 in there. So we'll view all, and we'll add to the queue. Now I think it would be helpful to have a modification to this process where we could just click a box down the side and wouldn't have to go into each one and individually put it in the queue. So maybe we can do that as a feature request. So now we've got these 5 in the queue. And let's go back to, we'll just, for the sake of argument, we'll just go back to this page. Let's just show you what it looks like. So here we go. We are gonna, we'll just cut to it. This is a lower third that I've picked out, and every 15 seconds, every 10 seconds, it's going to rotate to the next, whatever the post is, whether it's Instagram or Twitter. In this case, we've got 4 Instagrams and 1 Twitter. There's Mike from earlier. And that's one I put up right as you guys were showing up. And there's the one we just now got. And then it just rolls right on through. Now this one is actually a Twitter post, so it's just the text of that in Twitter. So I could take that same and I could overlay it right there. I'd have to rearrange my broadcast, but I could have it as a lower third, And that's a great way of getting information into the show that's live. I mean, obviously, I couldn't necessarily. Oops, looks like we've got another one come in here. So let's add that one to the queue. I couldn't necessarily do all this live myself. Well, there we are. There we go. Looks like JW's got that one in there for us. So I would want an assistant perhaps to help me with this. Although, you know, here we did do it live today, but you know, I'm explaining to you how to work it. There we go. That's a Twitter feed. I better get out of the way because the next one's coming out. Somebody says they did do a hashtag vMix social, but it didn't pop up. Well, I did that earlier, and I put a space after vMix. Or no, I was doing it on my phone, and the phone put the space in. That's what it was. It was not good. Anyway, okay, so you get the feel for this. Let's just turn that off for a second, and let me show you how I got that lower third in. This is really cool. And what I want to do just for the moment is I'm going to cut to this shot. This shot basically shows my desktop. Here I am in the big window over on the left with the orange stripe across the top. That's preview. Over to my left, your right, is program. And you can see the transition bar right here. And then all the other inputs down here below me. And so what I want to do is I'm going to add another input. So I'm going to come over down at the bottom left-hand corner to add input. And then I'm going to select a title input. Now, there are lots of different title inputs. We're not going to go through them all. Animated, scoreboard, timer, ticker, text, multi-view, social, and then, of course, our favorite, all. We're going to use the social. And that's because some of these fields are pre-configured for us. And we've got quite a few different ones that we can work with. And, of course, you can manufacture your own using the title designer, and you can modify these. Let's just use this red one right here. It's Social Title 7. How about that for a sexy name? Social Title 7. There it is. And it says, okay, your message goes here, username, title, from name, from photo, source, photo. And those fields we're going to assume are going to be filled in. So we will just leave that one kind of blankish for the moment. And then let's go back over to our vMix Social application. And you can see right in the middle of it right here is the title bar where we can select that title that we just put in. And that title, I believe, was 7 red. So let's select 7 red. And we're going to click refresh title. And then let's just overlay 7 red on top of this. So here's what 7 red looks. This is a Twitter post. You see how it's got the little Twitter birdie down there. And here is a Instagram post and another Instagram post. And we'll just drop in a black background for a second so you can see how that just popped up. Really pretty simple. And so we'll go back here. Now we can adjust the number of seconds. We can set it for, for example, a 3-second delay, which is pretty quick. And so in a demonstration like this, might make sense for have something that moved along pretty quickly. There we go. That's moving along pretty quickly. And we'll take that back off. Now, do I know what everything on here is? No, not yet. Working on it. Working on it. You can see that our Twitter has updated itself to 2 tweets, and our Instagram has updated itself to 4 Instagrams. And we'll go to that page, and you can see, oops, we can't see, can you? Let's see if we can make that page a little bit more accessible. There we go. You can see now that we've got 4 Instagrams and 2 Twitters. And remember, I had to go in, and this, our last one from Linda Dash, was not in the queue. So I had to add it to the queue, and that's when that dot appeared. Now, I also have an option to send it directly. So if I click send right now, boom, it's going to be the one. And well, I can't get to it fast enough because it's on a 3-second timer, but immediately that tweet was the one that populated in this bar. So you can't really get that green dot off. Haven't figured out how to do that yet. I don't think cancel does it. Nope. And if I click send again, it just leaves the green dot there, but it just sends it up. So if you have a tweet that you need, if you've got a string of 20 or 30 tweets, and you want to force the latest one in there, you can send it in. I noticed when I was playing with this earlier that the very first time I did a send from something at the end of the list went sequentially, and then it turned around and went right back up again. And then it constantly went from the bottom up to the top. So I'll have to check that and see if that's just a little bug there. Maybe it's a feature. Maybe it's a feature. So, you know, it's got to be pretty simple to use if I can use it. And what I think you'll find when you start to use it is that you're going to need that second set of hands, second set of eyes to determine, you know, which of the tweets, which of the Instagrams, which of the Facebook posts are not bad, and so can be included, or are appropriate, rather. Maybe that's a better way to put it. And today, of course, you know, we just have a small kind of personal audience here, so I knew that just about everything we got. Oh, here's another one right here. Looks like we've got one coming in from Tommy Willis. So I tell you what, let's do. Let's put this up, and then, well, let's show you Tommy's first. We'll take that off. There we go. You can see Tommy at the top, and he's not in any kind of status. He's not in the send status. He's not in the queued status. And we're going to change this in seconds back to, let's put it to 10 seconds so that each one will be there for 10 seconds. And then let's go ahead and put me back up there, and then we'll overlay the red 7 title. And I'm going to move out of the way because I know a picture is going to come up here in just a second. Yeah, there we go. Now, let's go into our vMix social. You can't really see it, but Tommy's up here at the top. And I'm going to go into Tommy. Let's see, can I move that window? No, I can't move that window. So this is the window that allows me to add Tommy to the queue, or I can add him to the send. So I'm going to click send. And pow, there is his tweet from Twitter. Boo-hoo, I've been blackballed on Tom Sinclair's hashtag vMix social. So there we go. Now Tommy is included, but Tommy's not in the queue because all we did was send him up there. So I'm going to add him to the queue so that he's now there in the future. You notice on the red bar, on the very bottom of the red bar, in the right-hand corner, it has the word title. And that is something that we can change. Let's see. Let's turn that off. We'll go back to me here for just a second. and then we'll go back to the whole desktop. So I'm going to come down to the bottom. I don't know if you can see my cursor down there, bottom, kind of towards the right side. And I'm going to right-click the 7 red title, and I'm going to select Title Editor. And that's going to pop up this window. And you can see there's a message that vMix has pulled out of one of my Instagram posts. But I'm going to come down to Title, where it says Title, and let's just put in Streaming Idiots. There we go. And as soon as I type that, it starts populating. And so if we pop that right up there, now you can see in the bottom right-hand corner that it says Streaming Idiots. And as we go to the full feed, you can see that now it's populated with Streaming Idiots. And so over here, you can't see my cursor now, can you? Let me go back to this other shot. So right over here, it's going to tell you the moniker or screen name or Twitter name or whatever of the sender. Then it's going to tell you whatever name. I mean, I guess this is going to be their, in Rich's case, it's live streaming 24/7 is both of them. But yeah, here we go with Twitter. This is going to be JW's Twitter feed address. This is going to be the name, and then this is going to be the name of the show. And then right up in this field, right here, will be the actual tweet itself. So we've got that going right there. And looks like we haven't gotten any more tweets in. Let's take a look here, and we can see that we've got 3. Whoops, let's take that off for just a second. There we go. We've got 3 Twitters going, and we've got 4 Instagrams going. And so that is the 7 that are in the queue. Actually, all 7 are available, and all 7 are in the queue. We can take them out of the queue, and those numbers would still remain the same. So, we'll put it up, let it roll through one more time. That's the idea behind vMix Social, so that you, and this title, this red title right here, you can make it smaller, you can adjust the size of the font, you can move graphics around. The title designer would allow you to do that. In fact, you can create these from scratch if you want to. I'm not sure about the dimensions of the photograph over here, whether those can be changed and how they would be moved around, but I think that's doable. In fact, I'll take a look at that, and we'll include that in a future show. Excuse me. But I know that you can go to vMix on YouTube, and they've got some great tutorials, and they probably have something in there about the title designer. Looks like we've got a new one we want to add to our queue here, so we're going to send it right over. Oops, didn't stay up there very long, so let's add it to the queue. And that was from JW, who was going streaming, and it'll roll back around here in the queue in just a second. There it is. That's all the streaming stuff that you need. Wow. All right. Now that's a big wide photo, so you see it took up pretty much the whole screen. I had to duck around it to be seen. So keep that in mind as you're using the Instagram portion, that it's going to depend on what your user sends. That's today's show, by the way, as to how much of the screen it's going to take. But apparently vMix has allowed it to take quite a bit more of the screen. So let's see when that next one comes around. I think that's going to be coming up next here in just a second. So let's get way out to the side and see if it's coming right through the... Nope. So now it's... That's interesting. Now it's gone from the bottom and going back up to the top. So we'll see. Is that a bug? Is that a feature? Not really sure. Doesn't really matter. Just like the fact that it works. Really cool, and we'll try to think of some ways to incorporate this into our show. Because, the things you use, the more you use them, the better you get with them, to the point where it just becomes second nature. Let's see. Yeah, we've got two more to pop up before we get to that wide one. Let's just hang in there a little bit long. This is the last photograph, and then the next one after that. I'm watching here in the web. So the next one up is going to be a Twitter. Yep, there you go. And this is and there we go. That's the big wide one that I'm stuck behind. Okay. So that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. So that is kind of the behind the scenes amateur's look at vMix Social with the new Instagram function in it. I think that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty workable. And it's free. It comes free with vMix. It comes free with the vMix free 60-day trial. And you can use it after the trial expires. And we'll talk about that on a future show if you haven't already figured it out yourself. But that's pretty cool. So this is version 17.0.0.103. And if you're still working with vMix 16, or if you're working with like vMix 17.83 or something like that, if you do update to the latest .103 and you're using desktop capture, which is a separate free application, on a separate PC, you want to update your desktop capture too. Don't be caught with different. They don't have the same version number, but you want to make sure they're the same generation, the same date of release. So general rule of thumb, if you're going to update vMix, the main version, go ahead and update your desktop capture. Now the vMix Social will update itself whenever you update vMix, so don't worry about that one. That one's going to go. That's going to be okay. All right. Well, we're looking at all the crazies in the chat room, and I say that with genuine love and concern, of course. And I see that JW has retweeted, so we'll add that to the queue, and we'll let that be part of the post show there. Anything else we've got to today's show? No, I guess we need to do our full disclosure. I am an authorized reseller for vMix, for Magwell, the capture card folks. If you need a capture card, come get them. For PTZ Optics, the PTZ cameras, look out. We've got some special news coming up in August about PTZ cameras, i.e., you didn't hear me say that. You got to read my lips. Yes, you saw it here. Details coming up in August. Don't tell anybody. So PTZ cams, Magwell. I'm probably leaving out somebody. Anyway, and we also design and build custom streaming PCs. So if you've been dealing with a Dell that you bought from Dell or something you got from Best Buy, and you're beginning to hit the ceiling on performance, and you need something that's designed specially for the job, that's what I do. I design and build PCs especially for the job. Yeah, you may want to check. I think we'll have it up next week or later this week. We're posting a series of case studies of some of the PCs we've built and where they've gone and what folks needed, so that you'll kind of have an idea of the breadth and width of what we do. So that's it. That's all the ads, all the disclosure. Stay tuned if you're watching us live for the famous after show. And looks like Giles, since he keeps going in and out of the show, he claims he has a bad internet connection, but I think he needs to get a beer. Giles is going to have to bring refreshments. So don't forget to hold George Price up in your prayers, and we will see you next week, same time, 3 o'clock Eastern in the States, 5 a.m. in Australia on Thursday morning, and I think 8 p.m. in England. 9 p.m. in the rest of Europe, at least Eastern Europe, Western Europe, excuse me. And if not, just show up sometime and, we'll make a show for you. Anyway, it's a pleasure to have been with you today. I hope that you will be with us next week. I hope you'll follow us on YouTube and all that other good stuff. And see you soon. Bye now.